this 10? If I have some of that now, it's gonna fucking ruin. I'm gonna be like, oh, this is great, you know, and then we'll go on to burning tree and be like, oh, this is fucking garbage. Let's go back to that one.
What is that? Is that
Mixer's
dinner
10.
Sweet.
Can I have a little nip? Really? I really appreciate this. Is awesome, dude. You
Poured me this, I'll pour you that.
Thank you.
I'll have a
It
little of that.
smells
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
did give him an 18 year. That's right. Yeah, right. I just, I'm kind of humped. This I've been
A
waiting.
friend of
to try
mine just Saturday brought me a bottle of Johnny Walker Red
Just a
and
little nip.
a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue.
Greg, are you trying a little nip?
Afterwards,
Okay,
I'll
so-
have some. I'm in the middle of mine. So that's upstairs.
I'm gonna do a review right
Can I
now.
have your cutter too when you get a minute?
Turd cutter. You got your turd
I
cutter.
want it back because I gotta light up a cigarette.
This is the one I thought you would really want to taste.
Yeah, I want to try that.
What is that?
Rogue.
Oh, dude,
It's their stouted whiskey.
Yeah.
dude, smell the nose on that. And I hate mixtures.
How do you hate mixtures?
I don't like regular
Actually-
regular Mister's bourbon. I could just.
I think I had that.
I like the
think I had
American whiskey better than this. The small batch.
Nah, not for the price range. Too much good stuff out there.
Actually, I don't think it's any different.
I'd rather buy like McKenna or BT Single Barrel or
True.
Eagle Rare or a Rittenhouse Rye or. There's a lot of
It doesn't have the depth. You're right.
No, there's none. Yeah, it's way. It's
but
just super young.
the 10 years much calmer. I use the word calm. In my opinion, it's because it's refined. Maybe that's what it is.
Super caramel on the note. I like super caramel. I'm gonna do like a quick review without getting too in depth because I don't want to ruin it for the show that we do on this.
Doo-doo. Huh? You said doo-doo.
We do. We're gonna do
Can
on
I
this
just
and
ask
taste
a
it.
question?
Uh-huh.
Like, what is the proper... You say caramel. And I
Caramel.
say caramel.
I say them both ways.
I do too. I think
Caramel.
Depends on what the lettering looks like. It depends on
Sticky
how
shit tastes good.
If it's all swirly, I call it caramel. If it's all just caramel, it's caramel.
Wait a minute, Bird Dog. You did Bird Dog. The first one we did the whiskey science on. That is okay. So the episode you're about to see because you haven't seen it, nobody has. So next week, or the release. I shouldn't say next week. The release of this last episode we did. You're gonna like because what's
Is that
Doug
Jazz or Bird Dog?
like killed it with this. He's doing like this whiskey science section now, and he's gonna be. He brought the actual maize and different ryes with him.
He brought all the
in
grains.
bowls.
He brought
All the grains here. Like the
He had bags of them.
dude was great. He's like, I ordered this for this. I'm like, holy fuck, this dude killed it today.
So
like
he's
he's setting up. I'm like, god damn.
He's very. He told me
Scientific.
Very scientific, and he knows the complete distilling process of any whiskeys or scotches. He knows them to a T. So, when he started, doing the show with us, he was kind of quiet.
Tasty.
He's kind of quiet, and we wanted him to be more vocal, because you could tell he's not.
He's trying to find himself.
He's trying to find himself. And I said, these guys, just relax. He's going to be fine. So then he says, texts me one Sunday. We're sitting outside smoking and partying, and he texts me. He's like, hey, I got a great idea. So he pitches the idea to me. I was like, bomb. The bomb. Absolutely.
Take it. See
So
what it does.
he did his first show. He did his first, 5-10 minute show last week, and it was fantastic. He speaks well. He's very intelligent.
awesome.
It was fantastic.
And he's like splitting it up into sections so it's not taking up.
Yeah.
It's really cool the way he
He did
laid it
some-
out. It's badass, dude.
We actually got up and clapped when he was done. He did such a great
It's
job.
really
Yeah,
good,
it was
man.
really cool,
It's
man.
really good. I was shocked, to say the least. I was shocked.
Man,
So we're gonna do. I'm gonna say Cleveland Bourbon Co-op announcements or anything you want to say about the group and stuff, and we'll go into that. But
that's nice. I can't wait
so
to
we're
have
doing
some-
into the intro song. I'm just gonna crank that up.
Yeah, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
Hey, you guys want to just start it? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get going. Let's get going.
Ding. Ding.
Ding,
Look at
ding.
that camera first.
Ding. Sorry, I gotta find it.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? I know.
Eric, you good? You need anything, brother? You set? Okay.
Dude,
I came to
okay, so
hang.
Mister's
All right,
10,
I'm glad you came out.
first time, really good.
Is it?
Yes.
It is
Greg, what'd you
awesome.
think?
I love it. I love it. I like it.
All right, waiting on you now.
Till the last drop. Here you go.
Come on. Let's do it, son.
Huh? I didn't hear you.
What was that? I'm sorry. The fuck?
Yeah.
Welcome to this is Whiskey Roundtable. I'm your host, Joe Clark.
Big J.
Karen Helen Keller.
Eric Black. Grab a whiskey, grab a cigar. Let's go on a little journey here. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Be sure to view us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And again, I can't stress this enough. Please, guys, I know guys are watching the shows and are not subscribing to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us. And we want to do what we can to get bigger for the group and bigger for the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op. And hopefully we'll be able to do more things this coming year. We got some plans brewing. And you have any announcements, Eric, on anything co-op related? Just anything.
I can reveal that there are, let me see, we have several barrel picks.
Oh, wow.
I'm done with that hand. We have several things coming on this
I'm not
year.
done with my hand.
All right.
Here.
Yeah, I left Rosie over here.
Oh,
But
my
no,
goodness.
pay attention what's going on. Be on the alert. We've got quite a few things in the hopper. I know Hank said the glasses are coming in the next week or two.
Awesome.
We got rocks. And then we got a few things that you just be on the lookout. We got several
Right.
picks. I'm going to use the word picks.
Right.
And
Some big dogs in there, huh?
I know there are at least 3 distilleries involved.
Awesome.
I'm
It's
excited.
I'm just curious because Buffalo Trace?
I'm not saying the distilleries.
Well, Eric, thanks for joining us tonight.
It's nice seeing you.
Oh my god.
I'm not saying
You're gonna laugh like,
So I ran into Hank about 2 weeks ago. I went to pick up some stuff from him, and there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Yeah.
And that's another reason he wants to be on the show. So I told him when
Who's that?
Hank.
Oh yeah,
He wants to get into a bunch of stuff, and he wants to do it with Carl and you, so it'd be the 3 of you. And
There's more than just the 3 of us in the group.
I understand that, but it's you do a lot. You do a lot.
You'd be surprised what some of the other guys. The
Well, I
other
don't know.
moderators do.
I don't know them cats. They never reached out, so it is what it is.
Well, you're not on there all the time too, like Joe and I are, so we see a lot of.
But I know what I like.
But to that point, you said the moderators, the admins, it's just a Facebook.
Everybody does it.
There's a lot of people that do a lot of things, and just beyond 6 people.
Well, I mean, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody in the group, but we have a relationship. We have a good relationship. We talk. You're always helpful if we need something as far as whatever it is. And Hank and Carl, great guys. I mean, can't say enough about them. The Cleveland Bourbon Co-op is, we're on a roll, man. Even though I'm not a member of the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op, we're on a roll. And it's getting better every day.
Yep.
And I don't know if you caught last week's show, but we talked about the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op in length. Really did. So it was a nice show.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll not talk about it in like this time.
Yeah.
Go watch the show.
That's it. There you go.
Right?
But,
That'll be
it's good
episode
stuff.
16, Bird Dog.
Bird Dog.
So we'd like to have like more Cleveland Bourbon Co-op theme. We want to do like a themed section.
Okay.
So if you want to pass that on to the other moderators to, like, if they, anytime, just message and say, hey, could you mention this on an episode? Could you mention that? And we'll put it in. Like, hey, they want to say this for, if you want to make a group-wide announcement, hey, you guys could be starting to do this, or we're going to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Even
Even if you
announcement-
need it to be immediate through the Whiskey Roundtable, we can do like a quick cell phone capture, whatever, Be like,
Some
hey,
advance notice on meet and greets and different things like
yeah,
that.
like stuff months or weeks out.
Your
planning.
side of town or our side of town, what have you.
Yeah.
All right.
It'd be great.
Keep that in mind.
Because we want this show to be, would it be
Interactive.
synonymous with the Clean Bourbon Co-op kind of thing? A lot of weird hand actions there.
And
yeah.
that's fine. I mean, there's some other whiskey people on that have some things going on with the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op as well, which is fine. Everybody's got their own take on things, but the guys at the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op, they keep it together and do a good job.
That's
I
good
mean,
work,
you
man.
can't say that what they do for other people is great. The food bank and different things like that, the meet and greets. You were sitting here, I just got a call for, hey, I need some stuff, and as a club member, and wanted something, we take care of it. It's cool. It's just a good thing. It's a good thing. Am I talking too much? There we go. That's
No,
my
yeah.
song when they want me to shut up.
Little subtle hints.
Be
So-
quiet. Yeah. So
On tonight's show, we are featuring Burning Chair.
We are
Was
featuring-
that a
Hi,
Helen Keller
Burning
pick?
what's that?
That's a Helen Keller
That's a Helen Keller pick,
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
It is
It's
a
a Helen
Helen
Keller
Keller pick.
And obviously our guest and co-host tonight is Eric Black.
Eric Black, thanks for coming out
I'm a
today.
guest.
Thanks
I'm a
for
guest.
coming out today.
And,
You're a guest. Exactly.
So, Greg, what are you guys smoking?
So again, I'm smoking a Ecuadorian Habano blend from Royal Havana Cigars. Dave at Royal Havana Cigars. Obviously, he takes care of all of our cigar needs. He's at 38448 Lakeshore Boulevard in Willoughby, Ohio 44094. Again, we do all kinds of different events, weddings and Christmas parties, anniversaries. You can even do something at the Cigar Lounge if you want. Dave's a great guy. Supplies us with all our stuff, and we appreciate him. I was actually there last Friday for a cigar event with Oliva, and I went there today to meet some friends that I haven't seen in a little while, and one of his son-in-law was in town from the military. And we got together for a cigar and chit-chatted and hung out for a little while. And the next thing you know, I was home. So that's how it goes. So thanks, Dave, over at Royal Havana. Look those guys. I know he always gets mad when I say Havana. Look those guys up. RoyalHavana.com. Great place to go. Mention our name. Get you 10% off on your cigars. Also, Joe, go ahead. What do you got?
Also, I want to mention, speaking of .com is the whiskeyroundtable.com. Visit our site. You can message us through there. Check out any. I know we have to be a little more diligent about updating some of our social media, but I think all of us lately, even you were saying something about being busy at work lately, and I've been sun up, sun down, man.
It's spring. It's getting slammed.
Dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Also want to talk about the Village Martini Bar. So Village Martini Bar is 516 East Washington Street, Chagrin Falls, Ohio 44022. Phone number 440-893-WINE, W-I-N-E. Plus they have a second location on Clifton, which is Clifton Martini Bar, 10427 Clifton Boulevard in Cleveland, Ohio 44102. Phone number, if you want to make reservations to the Clifton location, their phone number is 216-965-0221. Check out, they have great wines, great martinis, and great bourbons and scotches. They're actually just revamping all their stuff now. If you go in there and mention the Whiskey Roundtable sent you, they will charge you regular price. So, but good group of guys. If you come to Whiskey Roundtable, they'll take care of you. Plus, I want to talk about Jackson Gray Jewelers.
Yes.
All right. So, which is 516
He's
East
got to
Washington.
get us a little sign
Yeah,
or
he's gonna
something,
do
man.
that.
Yeah.
A little logo to put up there.
So the Village Martini Bar and Jackson Gray Jewelers, Chad Verhoff, who was on our show last week,
That
they are
dude is so kick-ass.
they are
You
doing
have got to fucking hang out with this guy. I mean, I was thinking Greg was gonna get jealous for a minute. I'm just like, oh my god, man, he's
you can out-talk me.
not only that, but he's such a ball buster. Being like jewelry store owner, you expect something different. You know what I'm saying? And this dude was like, he could have been one of my techs at work where he bust balls all day. You know what I mean? It was a really good show, and he was fucking hilarious. And we got a little carried away until like 4 in the morning.
Until 4 in the morning. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
It was bad.
Not me. I went to
Lot
bed
of-
early.
I was good, but
A lot of
still was
regrets
rough
on
day
that
for me.
one.
I was out of the house by
Regrets?
7 o'clock in the morning. They left after 4. I went to bed for an hour. I got up, took a shower, I was out of the house at 7, and that was my whole day. It was like,
He texted me the next
and I
morning,
motherfucked
first thing.
them for the next 8 hours. It wasn't that I was hungover. I was tired. I was done.
God, yeah.
You know, I get up by 4 in the morning, sometimes 3 in the morning, you know. So it's just a long day for me. I'm up 24 hours. I was just beat up. But back to Jackson Gray Jewelers in the Village Martini Bar. On May 4th,
Yes.
Saturday, the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
They are doing a Kentucky Derby, bourbon and bling, and food and everything from the Village Martini. And they're starting from 4 o'clock till 8. 4 to 8 at the Village Martini Bar / Jackson Gray Jewelers. Bring your wives or your girlfriends or your fiancés. Chad's got a lot of great stuff, as he featured on our show last week. Great guy, sense of humor. He does wedding planning. He does all that kind of different things. I shouldn't say wedding planning, but maybe planning for jewelry and different things like that.
Does a lot of planning.
Yeah, he does a lot of
He
planning.
does counseling.
Yeah, he does counseling. That's what he called it, but it's funny. And
you tied
again,
her for half of everything.
May 4th, 4 to 8.
You did.
Come on down, we'll have a good time. So that's all I got, brother.
Cool.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
That's right. I'm a
Great.
Star Wars dork too.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You can play with her
Star
little toys
Wars.
that she's got since she was a kid.
I don't want to know about her toys.
I was gonna say you're offering those up.
Oh,
Excuse
my
me.
goodness.
Don't go in that drawer.
Wrong drawer.
Yeah. Gas
All right, so
oil
we
mixes
got
and
we got burning
Do you
chair.
have anything you wanna plug today?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, my place?
Yeah, you might want to plug your own business.
It's the hot dog stand down on West 6th, and usually after the club's let out. And it's,
Serving up hot dogs?
yeah, $7 a hot dog.
Right after the
Not
Indian
those
game.
hot dogs, Joe.
They're footlongers.
You just follow me to the alley.
That's it. Oh
They're
my
all Vienna
goodness.
sausages.
That's it. That's more like it.
5116 Richmond Road, Premier Automotive. If you saw sometime this week, I had posted some of the vehicles. You're a friend of mine, I
Yeah,
think. So I
saw
had
some of your
a
stuff.
couple cars there this week.
Couple of my favorite
couple
cars.
cheap cars we had,
Yeah.
GT3s and
Yeah.
a couple
See,
Bentleys and
this is when-
Maserati.
Joe didn't like what I said about one of the top fastest factory-made cars. He's just like, I don't think so. I'm like, compared to what? They're faster than a Lambo.
Now,
Faster than a
I mean, that's
Ferrari.
another discussion. So GT3, yeah, I mean, it may not be okay, when people speak fast, I always think like drag. I'm a drag car guy, so I'm like, whatever. But that car, if you were to be on a track, oh yeah, I mean that car is legit.
That car is
dude.
slapped around.
That car
a lot.
has like no sound deadening.
Right.
I mean, it's got full,
It's a race
close
car.
to full interior. Oh, absolutely, Unilug,
Right.
big Unilug on it. You know, the brakes on it probably cost more than my house. And
Did I ever
Beautiful
tell
car.
you when we were in Arizona back in 2005, the Porsche GT? You remember that car? We were. I was thrown out of the state. That's a whole different story. But anyway, we were at Penske. It was Penske's. We went there for a Land Rover event.
Okay.
And they have a whole Land Rover track built inside. It's outside, but it's the dealerships. I think there's 5
the
or
Land
7
Rovers
dealerships.
actually run long enough to get around the
They
track?
do.
Oh, okay.
It comes with a flatbed. But anyway,
Tow truck.
we had a
Very
couple
good.
hours to kill, so they encouraged us to go walk through all the dealerships, Land Rover, Mercedes, Porsche, you know, all the big names, you know, and they had a lot of NASCAR stuff there as well. They had, I think they had one of Petty's cars.
Don't turn right.
What's that?
Don't turn right.
Don't turn right, left only. So, this guy was working on a Porsche GT, which I think back in the day it was like $450,000 or something like that.
Those were cooler though.
Those were cool. So it relates now to the Audi R8, if you've ever seen that. So anyway, the guy was doing brakes on a mechanic. I stopped and talked to him. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? Good." Real friendly. Let's walk. Believe it or not, let us walk. You know, through some of the garages, you know, the repair shop, if you will. You know, he couldn't go certain places and all that stuff. And I was talking to him about this GT. I said, man, this is a beautiful car. I love it. He says, it is. And I said, what are you doing to it? He says, I'm putting brakes on it. And I said, well, what's involved with that? He said, well, calipers, pads, hoses. You know, he's going through the whole thing, rotors, carbon fiber brakes, carbon fiber rotors, all this stuff. I said, you know, what's that? I'm just curious, what's that cost? $35,000. I go, for what? He goes, for the
New
brake,
GT3?
for the brake jobs. I go, what? He wasn't kidding.
Okay, so
35
the new
grand.
GT3s, like even your, I can't remember what Mercedes SLR or something like what. Yeah, some of those carbon rotors, they're I think the GT3 was 5,500 a rotor.
Wow. I believe it. Made me want to come home and light my cars on fire, but anyway.
So anyway, you've got a place.
So yeah, it's 5116 Richmond Road.
Let's take it back to
I know,
something.
let's get back on top of it.
Premier Automotive. Thank you, Greg. Premier Automotive. Mainly, we work on domestic, German, and Asian vehicles. Pretty much have the ability to do those by far. We get some of the specialty vehicles in, and I'm looking hopefully to do in the future. I'm really into drag racing. I'd like to have a little section of the shop to do some dyno tuning and maybe build a couple drag cars. I'm still. Hopefully in the next year or so, I can finish mine one of these days, but we'll get there.
Thinking about flat six in that Carmagia, Karen.
Yeah.
Just watch an awesome
Can we
YouTube
just do
video.
it my Jeep?
Okay.
first?
Yeah, we can.
Well, it's funny because Joe, you mentioned you were showing some of the cars that you had in your shop, and I was thinking, this is why you do what you do, and I do what I do, because I'd be like that guy in Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he parked his dad's Ferrari.
Going
and
back the odometer.
Yeah, I would be like,
What was
okay,
that?
I'm just
What was
gonna
that Ferrari? Was that a
spin.
250? What car was that? I don't even remember.
250 GTO.
It was a 250.
I don't know, but it was really cool and it went fast, and that's why I just want to drive.
I
those
just remember
cars.
him coming over the hill, and there's this Spanish guy in the one seat, and the other guy, and they got these big smiles on their face.
That would be me. I would just
I
like
love
take
it.
I don't
these
know
up
if
on
I'm right
joyrides.
about this. One of those cars just sold in an auction for I think around 20 million.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
that Ferris Bueller's car.
My son's got a friend. He's a junior in high school now, but he's known her for several years. Young lady who actually drag races and has been
Oh, no
for at
kidding.
least 5 or 6 years.
That's awesome.
Cool. Very cool.
Out at
Dragway 42.
West, way out in Moray, mid
Summit Motorsports.
Yeah,
Is that Motor Summit Motorsports Dragway.
Didn't
Yeah.
Summit? Didn't they just sell that?
They
I
might have
heard
sold to
rumor that they
NHRA
would
or
sell
something.
it.
Yeah,
I think they did sell
I've
it.
seen her go out there, and she's got a
Norwalk, old
dragster.
Norwalk drag race. Like
Yeah,
the old
But
Norwalk.
you know, so it's been kind of cool to see some of that stuff.
Sure, sure.
I'll admit I'm not as big into the car thing. The thing moves me to there.
I love
Dude, my daily
being on the
driver is
road.
really
man.
simple.
I'm not. I mean, back in my day, drag racing was. I mean, I still love drag racing. I'm a Formula One guy. I love all that stuff. But track racing, road track racing, I love it. I could be out there all day, man.
Well, you have something that could be out there all day, but you don't
I
drive it.
know.
I've actually been on the Mid Ohio
Yeah, me too.
on it in a Ferrari.
No kidding. I was in a Porsche 911.
I was actually in it. Back. Oh man, I was
Do you remember what model you were in or no?
the 2 different Ferraris.
It was called
Oh,
the Christy
shit.
Turlington.
It was
Just kidding.
one of my brother's buddies. His dad owns 2. He owns the red one that was from Magnum PI. What
Yeah,
is it?
308.
So I was on the 308
Nice.
doing that,
Nice.
and then they had another
That
one.
was a Ferrari back in the day, man.
Yeah,
you had a 308.
We
you
did
were
that with the
somebody.
T's off too.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And then we had a Corvette ZR1 that he raced, so it was souped up. I was in that, and then Mom drove a Ferrari white with the spider doors. I'm trying to remember because I think they moved up.
What was wasn't the 328? Wasn't the Boxer? It was.
I don't
Was
remember.
it Testarossa?
Yeah,
Might have been a Testarossa.
But the coolest one was actually a car that, because my brother's buddy actually had racing license, and they had a Honda Civic hatchback that they probably put 10 grand into the suspension.
It was a monster, I bet too, wasn't it?
And it was funny as hell because this was a Ferrari event, and so they had everybody brought their Ferraris and they just tool around on mid blah blah blah, and it was funny. We hopped into this little Civic and took off on the straightaways. The Ferraris would go by us. We didn't slow on the turns or the hairpin turns.
Right.
And with the suspension the way it was, we just went around everybody. The only time anybody got off the track was they asked everybody to get off the track about every half hour, and they brought out the Ferrari Formula One. You weren't allowed to be on the race because that's $1 million car,
absolutely.
and you weren't allowed to be on the track. And then they just that guy lit it up and just took off. squealing and everything.
Sweet. Oh yeah.
I love European sports cars, Porsches, Ferraris, Lambos. I mean, that's my thing.
Yeah.
You know, even since I was a kid, that's what I bought my first Porsche 911. I was 20 years old. You know, and I had a Corvette. I've had everything. I've had a lot of stuff. I'm not being arrogant, but I've had a lot. I've had cars people work their whole lives for. I haven't had, and I just was able to acquire them. And I was always known for what I drove. You know, besides my size, but I was always known for what. People ask me all the time, "How the hell you get in and out of that Porsche?" I go, "I have no problem getting in and out of that thing. There's a ton of room in there. I see why sports figures drive them because there's a ton of room in there." You know, my 911 I have now, I don't have my seat all the way back. I have to because they're floor pedal and not dashboard pedal, and I have to come up a couple inches to get the clutch in. You know, it's I love it. The reason I don't drive it, it's basically a one-of-one car, and it's not replaceable, and I'm afraid to drive it. I'm afraid to lose it. You know, and I almost sold that car. When we went to that event down in Mid-Ohio, which we were talking about, we for Porsche Club, and I had a husband and wife come over. They were, probably in their 50s at the time. We were, probably in our 30s at the time, and they wanted to ask if the car was for sale. And I said it's not for sale. But I didn't take my car, but I had pictures. We drove Hell's cars down there. Herb's car. I'm sorry, Herb's cars. That's a whole nother story. It was a time of my life.
Another story?
Yeah.
So, story time.
But anyway, they asked to buy it. I told them I'd sell to them for 26 grand. They wanted to spend like 15. I told them keep walking. But at the end of the day, as I've gotten the lowdown on my car throughout the years from the guy that originally ordered it, he said, don't ever get rid of it, keep it. I'm glad I kept it. But anyway, go ahead, kids. I'm sorry.
All right, let's get back to whiskey on the whiskey show. This is all a car show. Yeah, no, I feel you. So let's now get the whiskey up to the camera, Greg.
Oh, is it whiskey time?
It is whiskey time.
That's all you had to say, my brother? Hey, I just want to say before I get the whiskey up, my brother Steve's got a little earache this week, so he's at home in bed with an ear pack or whatever, a heating pad on his ear. Yeah, little bitch. But anyway, all right. We're here?
So you said Steve, right?
Yeah, Steve. Oh yeah, with the fat girlfriend at college. I remember her.
All right.
No disrespect.
So this is Burning Chair whiskey. It's got an interesting label. I never really looked too close at it. What's that label all about?
It's a burning chair.
Look at that. Burning chair. Oh, okay.
Can't you see it? I just showed it to you on the camera.
Kind of hold it steady. Oh yeah. Okay, I get it now. All right. Cool. All right. Nice. All right. So let's pass those things out and let Karen talk about the history. Burning Chair.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. So, Burning Chair, it's a new whiskey, and it's actually made by Dave Finney. Would help if I put my glasses on, right? Then I could see. Dave Finney. Thank you.
There you go.
Dave Finney is known for his wine, and he's out of Napa Valley, California. And he actually, it's interesting that you mentioned the label, because that's actually why I picked this when I first saw it. I thought the label was really cool. And he does a few different, he distills a few different types of spirits. He does the Burning Chair. He also does an American whiskey called Second Glance, and it's almost the same exact bottle, but it's got a picture of a guy in ties, and there's little square pictures all over the front of it. And he does a couple of tequilas. He does a Yate Reposado and a Yate Añejo tequila.
Añejo.
So I would love to try those because I'm a tequila.
Well, you have a whole box of different Añejos over there. So.
I know. But no, Dave Finney, he does a bunch of wines too. And as I was researching this for the show, one of the wines that he does is the Papillon. And I've seen this in the stores, and again, it grabbed my attention because of the label. And it's basically, for all you rock music people, you know how Ozzy has his name on his knuckles. Well, this Papillon is he's got his Papillon spelled out on the knuckles of this.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It grabbed my attention, and I'd like to try that too. But, so anyway, Dave Finney, he started a company called Savage and Cook. And And
We'll talk about it in a minute, Eric.
I thought you were looking at me to make a comment. I'm like,
that's all right. So Savage and Cook. So getting back to Burning Chair, it's made from bourbons that are distilled in Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And they're a combination of bourbons that have been aged for a minimum of 4 years.
So it is a blend.
It is a blend.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And it's distilled in new charred American oak.
Okay.
And then it's finished in his wine barrels from his Napa Valley winery.
Interesting.
And he uses his Cabernet barrels
Okay.
to finish it. And he keeps it there, so I've read up to about 8 months. He keeps
That's
it.
interesting because most use port or sherry.
Right. That's what
That's
I've
cool.
heard too.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, so he's got the Cabernet
Nice.
barrels that he keeps it in. I'm really off today. Anyway, so Burning Chair, it's a mash bill of 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. And it's an 88 proof bourbon. And it retails for about $59. I picked up the bottle today at Market District in Solon. And it's about what I've seen it for online as well. So
Well, that other bottle's gone.
pretty fair price.
What's that?
No, that bottle we got to stare at.
Yeah, this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This bottle was the open bottle, but it's,
okay.
it's like three. Believe it or not, it's still like almost full. So
Wow.
I just said instead of opening 2 bottles, I'm just gonna let's kill that over time, and we have another bottle for backup.
That's right.
So
Well, sometimes the open bottle is the nicer bottle to drink.
I agree. All right,
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't know how the oxidation will work.
all right.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
What I like about the cork on that bottle is it's glass and it's got the rubber seal on it,
Yeah.
so that it there's really no breathing room, so to say.
So the Savage and Cook, the distillery, it's actually located on Mare Island, which is in San Francisco Bay. And I mentioned this is a young distillery. It just opened in 2018. So whenever I go to San Francisco, I want to check this place out because he does some small batch experiments right there at the distillery. And he has exclusive tastings, and it changes throughout the year, so it's never the same. So if we ever go visit family out in San Francisco, I'd like to try to get to there and see if we can get lucky enough to try one of his
I would
small
love to
batch
get to California this year,
tastings.
see my uncles, great guys. And that's all I have left on my mom's side. All my aunts are passed. So would love to get back out there. I'd like to start down San Diego and work my way up north, but instead of north down the south.
Yep.
So
that's what I found on Burning Chair because it's new. Not a lot out
Not a lot of
there,
history. Yeah.
and hopefully this is a good one. Like I said, it was a Helen Keller pick from the look of the
She
label.
usually does all right. She does all right.
Not bad.
Okay, I picked a few good ones.
Yeah. Actually,
not so
some
good
of our
ones.
some of our base. God, I can't talk to you. Some of our
See, it's
best
going around.
tasting juice bottles over there have been Helen Keller's picks.
yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Never would have found Rested Rye.
That's true.
That's a hell of a drink, man.
Cigar
It is a hell
Dalmore
of a
cigar
drink.
malt.
Yeah, Dalmore cigar malt.
Cavalon.
Cavalon.
Which we were going to do tonight. That was our other choice. Or
Yeah,
about
it was
to
close.
do
Keep
that.
talking about doing scotches. You know when
Yeah, we gotta quit fucking around and do some scotches, man.
we'll do. Now that Doug's involved, we'll probably because he's a big scotch
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, me too. I always stray. All right, let's do this, man. Let's nose it. What do you got?
Eric's been nosing it already.
I know.
We'll nose it, and Greg, if you can give us the
I'm going to
nosing
give
notes.
you I'm going to give you the nosing notes. So just so you know, okay. So I'm just going to screw that up anyway. Aromatically intriguing with brown sugar, caramel, butterscotch, and toasty oak.
I smell
I-
the oak.
I
Yeah, that's
smell.
oaky. Yeah.
I get a little caramel out of it. I guess I get a little sugar out of it.
I smell the wine out of it.
Yeah.
I don't get the butterscotch. I do get the oak. But when I first smelled it before I read this, I smelled something in it that I've never smelled before. And I said this about the mint last time. So I'm going to go to. We're going to try the. You want to try the palate? Or you want to talk about the palate first?
Go ahead, talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I was saying when you said wine, I was thinking grape.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the palate is smooth and lush with loads of vanilla bean, baking spices, maple, and baked apples. That's what I got out of the smell. The finish is a long and exciting, begging for another sip. Of course it is. So the palate is a smooth and lush with loads of vanilla bean, baking spices, maple, and baked apples. I smelled the apple in it when I smelled it.
There you go.
You guys making fun of me?
No, I took a hit already.
He couldn't wait.
He did.
All right.
He went first. I'm like,
Did you
fuck.
try it? Did you try it, Eric?
I just did.
Okay.
It was, so when you talked about the mouthfeel, I probably let it hang out on my tongue a little bit longer, but that was because I was enjoying the oiliness of it.
Yeah,
which I thought,
yeah.
which was when you taste. Sometimes you taste a whiskey and the first thing is a hot. If you put it on your tongue, I find that I can't hang it. It doesn't hang on. It just burns, and you swallow it, and then you feel it. This one was just I just sat on my tongue, and I wasn't feeling any burn. I don't taste the. I'm not taste. Oh, there's the pepper. I now taste the pepper on the back, but it's not heavy. It's not like it's not a heavy spice pepper, but it is a very gentle on the tongue, I would say.
Yeah,
the oil makes
It's
it
not
very
hard to
nice.
drink at all.
Yeah, because it's heavy. I mean, it's
But it is heavy. It is a heavy, like heavy as in mouthfeel heavy.
Right.
Like he said, it's very oily. I like bourbons like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I get.
So I got a lot of the vanilla on the nose actually on
Me
the
too.
back end of that. I get a lot of vanilla forward
Yeah.
with some caramel and
I didn't. I mean, he said caramel, and I wasn't getting a ton of caramel on my first go.
I didn't get any. On the smell, I got. Excuse me. On the smell, I got the caramel. I get the oak. I get a little bit of the brown sugar, just a little hint of it. Didn't taste any of the butterscotch. But what I did smell in there before I even tasted it is I actually smelled green apple is what I smelled. Almost like
we said that
just
when
like
we
the
originally.
candy.
Yeah.
You remember what's that green those sour candies?
Sour apple?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, sour apple, but
But
yeah.
green apple is, it's tart.
Right.
Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
good word.
It's a
Yeah.
great word.
Tart.
It is a tarty kind of taste. I get that on the back end actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I easy enough.
He said back
I know.
end.
Back end.
I get that.
On the back end.
Oh,
He said
my
poo-poo.
goodness. Too funny.
We know where you're at today.
I know.
So,
Every day.
all right, I'm gonna go in for another hit, guys.
Yeah,
Let's
this
do
is-
it.
The more I drink it, the more I kind of get that. I get also along with the vanilla. I get when it sits for a while before I take another hit. It's very peppery to me.
Towards the end, that's
Yeah,
why I said
it's
it.
real
It wasn't anywhere, and it was only towards the back that it started to come out.
To be simplistic, the first hit I get is very sweet, kind of middle of the road. I pick up that wine note to it, that Cabernet kind of.
And so I can understand. Well, you used the word butterscotch or caramel.
I never got in butterscotch.
I did after the second one, but I'm not thinking of like a Werther's caramel or a
Okay.
Brock's butterscotch.
Right.
I'm thinking more of a soft milk caramel
Okay.
or butterscotch, just as
Like
you
a Sunday ice cream caramel.
Not that heavy sweet though. More of like when you're. You ever had a real rich dessert at a where they don't, but where it's the cake is the centerpiece and they put like a light butterscotch,
Right.
But it's not heavy sugar.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting it. It wasn't. It's not a heavy sugar.
I'm not getting any butterscotch, but
Yeah, but it was
You
just
know,
hints of it. That's all I had.
I smelled apple in it, but I didn't taste any apple.
The
But
more
again,
you nose it and stuff, the more that kind of appley.
sometimes I go back to, I've been smoking cigars all day, so I try to flush my
Well, you
flush
may
my palate.
pick up other things when you pair
Yeah.
things with cigars. You
Right.
get different. So,
So I mean, there's a cigar for every meal. So and breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. So and it's just like wines, believe it or not. So
That's a dessert whiskey.
it is a dessert.
yeah,
whiskey.
it is.
That's a great analogy. That's exactly what it
That
is.
is a
It's
dessert whiskey. I mean, that is one that
I agree with that.
you would sit down after a fine meal,
Yeah.
and you could do that.
Did you have the dad's hat with us?
I don't think so.
We have a dad's hat.
I've got a
Sherry?
dad's.
You got that.
Yeah,
Sherry
the
thing.
sherry. Yeah.
No,
That's a
I've got-
desserty
Yeah.
That's a nice dessert style drink too.
I've got a Dad's Hat pick that I got out in Chicago that is pretty. I call it my baked cinnamon apple,
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, that sounds good.
and it's a rye. But
Remind me not to cut you off, but when you said something, remind me of this. If I don't tell you now, then I'm going to forget. After the show, remind me to talk to you about some bourbons and different things because we're going to be traveling soon. So I just wanted to get with you on that. Okay. Otherwise, if
Fair
I
enough.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
No, okay.
we're all good.
So all right, I'm gonna finish this off, kids.
Yeah, me too.
Hey,
I'm going for it.
what are your thumbs up or down, sideways? What do you think?
You're the beginner of the thumbs. You tell us.
Oh, my thumbs.
See, dude, on that, see,
You're not
I'm
sitting on
pulling every time I take a hit of this.
I love
It's
it.
almost like
I
I'm
do.
pulling something else out
Something
of it.
different.
Something heavy. So usually you get like you get your forward, you get your middle, and you get your finish. You know, on the back end of it there, and then it almost changes to me every time I hit this one on the initial hit.
I do agree with Eric 100% when he says about it's
really
a great
sweet to me
it's a
right
great after dinner drink, just like a good scotch. I agree with you on that. You know, and actually, let's get past the dessert. It would pair up with a nice cigar, maybe not a full body cigar, but a medium body cigar. This would
Actually,
pair,
I think that would
pair
pair up
nicely with.
very nice with a blondie.
I agree.
Yeah, that's where I was going to say.
But that's
Yeah.
that was well put, Eric. How you?
I would almost say that you know, hey kids, have the blondie. I'll just take a spoon and I'll do this.
Right.
You were stupid.
Right.
He called me stupid. No, but I think I don't know. I like that. I'll give that a thumbs up. I like that one.
See, the more I drink, and I'm going to say I get a.
Hey, while you're down there.
I'm getting a kind of a caramel apple to me on
Okay.
that. Yeah. Still pepper on the far end of that.
Which is fine because
Yeah.
because that pepper is almost like the.
It's
like-
nice. I like
Well,
it. Yeah.
You know how you go after a mint to clean out your mouth after a
Sure,
dinner?
yeah.
I'm thinking the pepper's doing that.
Yeah.
So you got the nice
Okay.
oil
Yeah.
with the scotch, with some of the butterscotch or the caramel or even some of the other flavors and notes we've said, or the
Right.
vanilla. You turn around, it's got the pepper at the end to clean your palate out.
It's
I
a
think-
long-lasting flavor.
Oh, it's super long finish. I still
It
got
is.
it. Yeah.
I like
Super
it.
long finish, and it, like you said, Joe, it just keeps changing.
Yeah.
The different
Yep.
sips that I take, I get a different taste on it.
Right.
It is very oily. It's thick to me. I
It
like
is.
it.
It is very. It's a heavy feeling drink. It is very oily because I still feel it
Yeah.
kind of swishing around in there. Even after you swallow it, it's still there. It's very
Still there, yeah.
what would they say? Like very viscous feeling in there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
The
Is that
long
right? Is that
finish.
the right word? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a good old 5W30 Castrol
There you
swimming
go,
around
son.
that motherfucker right
They're
there.
a little thinner than Bourbon 1. So what do you think, Karen? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up on this one. Yep.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I like that one. It's very good. It's very different for a bourbon. It's, to me, I was saying earlier, scotchy. I wouldn't say that again. I was actually thinking of Bibb and Tucker for some reason on that.
Man, I have mixed reviews on Bibb and Tucker. I
we
mean,
do
a
that
lot
around
of people
here.
like it. Man.
No. This show we do everything. Like I always said, if someone brings a BV on here, we're doing it.
I'm gonna
You're
hold you.
doing it?
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I will chug. You know what? In fact, I don't like the whole whiskey chug thing, but I will chug that shit if they bring it on here. If they bring it here.
So I tease these.
All right.
I tease these
I
guys
bet
today.
you a bottle. You don't do it.
I teased these guys today. I said I'm gonna go pick up something at
Bottle
Market
of what?
District.
BV.
I'm gonna go pick up something at Market
Camouflage
District for
label.
tonight, and I'll surprise you. And so I'm shopping. All of a sudden, I hit them back on a group text. A text, and I go, "Hey, you guys ever hear of Southern Comfort?" And Joe's like, "It's crap." And I go, "I'm kidding." Like,
It's a whiskey.
I at least know that much. You know?
I mean, if that's what you were gonna do, then that's what. Hey, you know what? I didn't like. I swear to God, they've changed the mash bill on that one. Was the regular early times? The regular early times, and we
Yeah.
had we're like,
Something
wow,
seemed a little
wait
off,
a minute. No, it was like, this isn't bad. This is actually pretty good. It's not bad. But surprisingly, I was shocked, like, because I hated early times for a long time, and I was like, they changed something about this, because this is not the early times I remember. But of course, the bottled in bond, they'll take that away from the early times era. Is fantastic. I'm just putting that out there. We're not going to talk. We already did a show on that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to talk about it. So, anyways, I think that's it for the whiskey tonight.
All right.
And we got.
We have any news there, Joe Clark? What are you doing?
We do. We got some news.
All right.
So what I'm going to do today is just a little quick thing. I kind of slacked a little bit here. So coming up in, we have April. We got the Blood Oath pack number 5.
Okay.
Finished. It's 98.6 proof, and it is finished in rum casks.
Like Joe Boo has tonight.
Yeah, Joe Boo would like that.
Joe
There's
Boo is
there.
drinking. So let me tell you what Joe Boo is drinking tonight. He is drinking a 7-year Legendario Cuban rum, which you can only get in Cuba. In Cuba, it's $100 a bottle. So over here in the States, it would probably be $250. But so that is what Joe Boo's doing, and he is smoking. Joe Boo is smoking. He is.
He
Take
is
a look
smoking.
at it.
He's got a
cigar.
cigar.
He's a cigar guy.
He's got a
So
cigar.
he is he is smoking a full body LaFleur 660 size. So he wanted to say go Indians, and hope everybody pulls together and we get into the playoffs this year. Go ahead.
All right, so we got. I've never heard of it. 4 Gates bourbon finished in sherry and rum casks. 123.4 proof. And of course, the Four Roses Small Batch Select has been released in Kentucky, New York, California, Texas, and Georgia first. It is a permanent expression, and soon it will be released nationwide.
All right.
In May, I'm not going to go any further than May. Actually, I'll go June too, because it's just I laugh when I see it. It's Barrel Bourbon Batch number 19 in May, and new is 109.4 proof. It is blend 9.5 and a 14-year-old bourbon.
Yep.
The June release is Weller Full Proof, and we'll never fucking see it for $50 a bottle. It'll be on caskers for $900, I'm sure. And the
the other secondaries.
Oh yeah, it'll be on the secondary. So we'll pay $900, $3,000 a bottle to get it. So I don't know, maybe through some of our connections, some of your connections especially, maybe we'll get a Weller Full
We'll
Proof.
figure it out.
And so some of the other things that were on here were best $20 to $30 bourbons, and I agree with it. And it is Maker's Mark. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
Old Granddad 114.
We know you're a fan of that.
It's like everywhere I go.
What Maker's Mark?
Going to the shitter at work, it's probably 114.
It's the straight Maker's Mark.
Okay.
Not the private select.
Yeah, just the regular Maker's Mark. $20 to $30. Evan Williams single barrel. And then you have Wild Turkey 101.
Of course.
Buffalo Trace. Which, yeah, okay. And then the I'm going to go into $30 to $40 bourbons, which of course one of them everybody knows is going to be in there is Henry McKenna, the 10-year. It's probably you can't get it anymore because they had to announce it was the best.
Right.
Johnny Drum Private Stock.
We have any of that?
Yeah, we just drank some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's great. You have the Eagle Rare 10-year, of course, you know,
That's it.
without Four Roses Small Batch, the regular, not the select. Bowman Brothers Small Batch Bourbon. Have you had any?
I have not,
Bowman
but I have
Brothers?
seen it.
Here?
I've seen it.
Is it-
No,
is it
not.
on here?
I haven't seen it here. I've seen it out of state.
So that's a $20 to $30 bourbon.
So I'll pick it up.
or I mean,
next time
$30 to
I see it.
$40
Next time I
bourbon.
see it,
So,
I'll grab it. Try it.
so we go into just real quick. I'm going to stop at the $40 to $50 bourbons. If I can get to
many
it.
of them.
Let me go back. I'm sorry. My phone is... There we go. $40 to $50 bourbons. And one of my favorites, Four Roses Single Barrel. Doesn't have to be the barrel proof, which everybody keeps drinking. And I understand why everybody keeps drinking it because it's really fucking good.
Right.
But regular single barrel, Four Roses Single Barrel that you find here in Cleveland on every shelf that you can possibly go to it, I would imagine, is a fantastic bourbon. It's 100 proof. Don't forget about it. I did for a long time, for a couple years, went back to it, and I'm just like, why did I not have this on my shelf for so long?
You know, I'm surprised. You know what? And, you know, I'm a big Four Roses fan, and you know what? We don't even have any of their products on the over there.
Get out of here.
I have no
Where?
Four Roses. What do I have?
Yeah, we do.
What do
There's
I have
two
up there?
single barrels sitting up there, dude.
Why you holding on to me? What bottles did you put them behind?
Shh, quiet.
Jeez, no. So then we go into
I didn't think I had
the
any of
Knob
it.
Creek Single Barrel, which we're...
Was that the 120?
Yes.
I like that.
Wait.
I had that at the Christmas party.
Now, wait a minute here. Whatever. We're not going into that. All right, whatever. Okay, we'll
I'm not
skip
a
that.
Knob Creek
Russell's
guy.
Reserves, single barrel is always good. And the Woodford Double Oaked. So, I'm not a huge Woodford fan.
I like Woodford. Double Oak, good.
Their Double Oaked is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one, and not last but not least, is one of my favorites also, is Old Forester 1897. That's a great bourbon.
Yes,
Drinking that last weekend.
That's right.
Good stuff.
Hit all the major distilleries.
We hit all the major distilleries, and those are all really good buys in all those price brackets. You go higher than that, of course, you have, I always say, in the $60 range is probably Blanton's single barrel. The regular doesn't have to be a store pick or anything like that. It's really good. You can
Forester 1920.
1920.
Or the Bottle of Bond.
Bottle of Bond. They don't have any of the new Riff products in there, and that would be your $30 to $50 range. So I'm sorry, that would probably be more your $40 to $50 range, and because they start at $39.99. And New Riff is always a very good buy. I don't care if it's bottled in bond, the regular, the single barrel, and I love their rye. I think their rye is on point. It's pricey for what it is, but it's good. It's very good. It's very good. And that's it. I think that's the end of our show today. This is the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Clark.
Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Eric Black.
All right. Drink responsibly. Thanks
Drive
for joining
safe.
us today.
Love you guys. Cleveland Bourbon Co-op, check us out. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for the 100th time, and also our Twitter, Instagram. Check out our whiskeyroundtable.com.
All right. See you next week. Thank you.
Be safe, all.
Bye-bye.
Good night.